Okay, here's how you can make the gas tank for the SAE Baja vehicle. So you can see the dimensions provided by the manufacturer. So we're going to put this in English. We're going to use standard. You can see over here there's going to be, with the plate at the bottom, it's going to be 8.5 by 8.5. So we'll start with a 2D sketch on the bottom like that. And a good center rectangle seems like the best place to go. So we're going to go like this, and then we're going to hit 8.5, tab, 8.5. And you can see I put an 80.5 on one of them. But when that happens, you just double click on it and fix that. All right, so we got our base there. You can also see that the fillets that it's asking for are not really very clear as to what they are. I would guess here that we start with the circle at the corner and then go from there. All right, so let's just go ahead and do that. Let's put a circle on this spot, and we will try to measure its distance. The details about this is the radius is 0.75 typical, and that does not sound right because that's quite a big hole there, but let's go to see if that's what they say. It does say radius as well. That does not sound right at all because that would be the hole would be this big. Oh, that's the radius of curvature of the outside one. That's why it didn't look right. And it just goes to show you, you got to listen to your common sense, or I guess see, to see if it makes sense. Think about whether or not it makes sense. You notice I'm putting it right there on that line. I know that's going to happen. It's going to be on that line from symmetry. Let me go back to this one over here. It's a little bit bigger than 3/8 because a 3/8 bolts have to fit through there. So we're going to do 0.386 on this one. And this is the one we needed over here where we put fillet. And this is the one we're going to put 0.75 for the radius. And we're going to go right here and each corner. All right. And then let's go ahead and put the placement of this circle at its proper position. Oh, well, that makes it kind of easy. You can see it's 1.75. Oh, that's that one there. But let's see. If we subtract, we get 1.5, so it's 0.75 from the corner, which basically means that they're going to be concentric, that this should have the same center as that one right there. And so for some reason, it didn't like that. So I'm just going to delete where it was. It might have locked in there accidentally. And I'm going to put 0.386 right here. And you can see that it's fully defined now. And then, of course, if we go with a, um, let's see, what is it called? Linear pattern? Rectangular pattern, rather. Our geometry that we're going to select is this one. We want it to go along the x-axis over here. Um, and so that'll be the first thing that, oh, wait, I was supposed to pick that first. Okay. We don't need to copy that geometry. So let me try again. So you only want to select geometry first. Then you come down here and pick direction. And so now you see a copy of it. And then from the diagram, you see that it needs to be 7 inches over to the right-hand side. And you can see it's right on top of it now. And then we're going to go the other direction, which is this way. And we're also going to do 7 inches on that one. And it went the wrong way. So you say switch directions. Then you have a circle down here, which is the kind of the drain that goes into the engine. We will just put that down as a circle on that y-axis, or I think that turned out to be the x-axis in this case. They don't really give us any details about that hole that I can tell. They only talk about its placement. So we'd have to have the gas tank in hand to be able to do that. Let's put 0.75 for the diameter on that one. And go ahead and follow the dimensions 1.75 from the end. And then I guess from this side here, it's going to be, yeah, that right there, 4.25. So we are all set to do an extrusion. And it needs to be 0.2 as we see in the instructions on the right-hand side, up here in the narrative. All right, and then let's take a good look at it like this and begin to build the rest of it. So the rest of it is going to have a cylinder on the top. So let's make a sketch here, new sketch, and let's put a couple of circles for the tank. We need one right there for, I guess, the inner wall. And then we could say, let's use an offset for the other wall like that. And then which one's going to be the outside diameter? Looks like it's going to be the 8. So we need to look at this one right here and say that needs to be 8 inches. And then we can do on the wall thickness is click the 2 circles there, and then type in 0.2. So that gives you the distance between the two. And then we're going to measure all the way up to the side of this. And so we need to include that 0.2 also. So we're going to, from the plate itself, zoom in until you see the donut. Oh, no, that's not it. When that happens, you can erase the profile, zoom in like that. All right, so the distance, it needs to be 7.94, but we also have the plate, which is already there. So we need to subtract 0.2 from that, and you can do the math inside of the text box like that. And now we have part of our tank. Let's go ahead and close it off at the top. And the way you do that is right click on this surface and say, make a new sketch here. And I guess you can face the top also. And let's try it like a project geometry and steal this circle right there for our new sketch number 3. Excuse me. And then what we'll do is we'll extrude this down by 0.2 so we're not adding anything to the height. So we're going to extrude this whole thing. We don't need a thin wall. We're only going to extrude it down 0.2. And then we're going to also just double check that we're going down instead of up. You can see we're adding to the height. We don't want to do that. So go like this. And there's your solid cylinder, but it did not work, which probably means it was trying to cut it. So then you just edit the feature when that happens. And sometimes it automatically goes to that, thinking that you really wanted to cut, but we didn't want to do that. We knew what we were doing. And it doesn't say anything about the fillets that I can tell. So we're going to test out a couple of them to see if it looks okay. Yeah. So we can kind of add a fillet to taste, so to speak. I'm going to put a 0.25 to see if that looks okay. That's actually maybe a little bit too much. So go back to what it was before. 125 is 1/8. And that looked okay for that one. I'm going to add another fillet down here. This one looks pretty big. So it looks like it goes all the way to the edge. So we need to probably double what it is. Okay, they went right to the edge, just like we saw here. And look at us go. All you need to do now is to put the hole in the top. And I got mine set up so it doesn't face it automatically. All right, so there's the hole in the middle. Here's the wall that's going to be extended upward. And that's all we're really going to try to do. Now, if we look at the diameter of that opening, I don't see anything. So we're just going to make an assumption about that one. And so we look to see what's reasonable. Maybe 2 inch. And then we'll make the wall thickness just like we did before. 2. And then we kind of guesstimate how high it is. Extrude. Just the donut. And you can even just grab it and pull it to get a close here, a close one. Now, what we should really do is go get the gas tank and measure it. But for this video, I'm going to do it this way. And also hit the plus sign right here so that we can make the hole right there. So click that and then say minus or cut. So that's going to cut into there so we can see into the bottom of the tank now. I think there's one more thing, and that would be to put some cosmetic threads on there. So we'll do that one. We'll put it here. It does look like it's got a little offset. Can we do something like that? Offset of 0.25. Now that's from the bottom. Can we make it go the other way? Instead of offset there, maybe it depends on where I click. So let me take this off. And what if I type down here instead? Look at that. You got the unthreaded part here and then the painted threaded part. So that's not a real thread. It's just a cosmetic thread. All right, then save this with the appropriate file name, which means SAE fuel tank, and upload that into D2L. You can even put your name here on the top of it if you want to. So in order to do that right there, new sketch, and then put some lettering on there. This window will come up. You paste in your name, or you can even use those words like that. And we need to take a closer look at this. So let's go like this, first of all. And then we will go, I think, at the top, and then come across over here. Ow, excuse me. Then come across over here, hit escape a couple times, grab this border. Like, I think it's got to be the upper border, and move it to the left-hand side, or you grab that dot, like so. Let's make it a little bit bigger font. So you double click there, Control A to get everything in there, and let's just crank it up to double its size. And that's probably good enough. And if you want to center justify it like this, you certainly can. Just like so. All right, and then to make it real, or visible rather, you just go back over here and you say, I want to, I guess extrude. We don't really want to cut into it. Let's just make it raised just a little bit so you can see it. That's going the other way with it, but we are going to go this way, and we only need maybe 0.05. Is that? Oh, that's 0.5. That might just be good enough to be able to feel that bump on the surface. So we click over here, you can see that that's going to be pretty good. All right, so that's how you add text to parts as well, to have them labeled. All right, let me know if I can help further. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to save as SAE Baja Fuel Tank and upload that to D2L.